Because of the min. Because the min, the wa here means and, meaning and min fi'lin, meaning bringing it over. And the Arabs love abbreviation. First lesson you learned, right? The Arabs love abbreviation. And then we say this in English too. We say the word and. I'm going to bring the chalk and the marker. I don't have to say I'm going to bring the chalk and I'm going to bring the marker. This is redundant in speech. Redundancy in speech is ugly. So I can go short and abbreviate that sentence by saying I'm going to bring the chalk and the marker. You understand that? So likewise, we can say min fi'lin wa fi'lin, meaning wa min fi'lin. Right? We good? Now, after that, after we understand how to recognize an ismun, because certain things are happening at the same time, we now go back to a fi'lun, and don't be rude, ladies, and a fi'lun, and what fi'lun yurafu bil? Biqad. Right? What is a fi'lun recognized by? Bisini, sawfa, wa aw biqad. Fa'lam wa ta'nithi. Ta'nithi. Oh man, I can't get this pen to work. Bismillah. Ta'nithi mayzuhu warad. Okay, so a fi'lun is recognized when you have qad or seen or sawfa or ta'nith. What does that mean? That means seen in front of a word, like you say like this. Sa yaf'al. Sa yaf'al. Okay? Sa yaf'alu. This sa right here lets you know that this word is what? A fi'lun. It's not an ismun. And it's not a harfun. Because it has sa in front of it. If it says sawfa, sawfa yaf'al, yaf'alu, then we know yaf'alu is a fi'lun because it has sawfa in front of it, which means sawfa and sa have a meaning. Sawfa and sa, they both mean basically the same thing. But remember, in Arabic, more letters, more meaning. So sa means I will, and sawfa means I will, but not right away. Okay? I will, but not right away. But when we see them, we recognize that that comes before a fi'lun. Now we get off of that and ta'nith. Ta'nith is like this. Fa'alat. Say fa'alat. Fa'alat. This ta at the end of the word is called the ta of ta'nith, meaning ta'nith means feminine. So make something feminine. A word in Arabic, when you hear, I'm sorry, astaghfirullah al-azim. An action in Arabic always denotes the one who did it. What does that mean? That means in Arabic, the fi'lun, the action, will always tell who the actor was. We'll tell that the one who did it was either a male or female, was either masculine or feminine in gender. Because it might not have been a male or female. It might have been a cow. But a cow has gender. The gender is either masculine or it's feminine. This ta lets you know that the one that did this action is feminine in gender. There is no neuter. Again, what does that mean in neuter? Come back to the sidebar. We're going to sidebar again. What we have to understand is first the language that we're starting with, English. English has 3 forms of speech. How many forms? 3. That's 3 genders I mean by that. It has the masculine. It has, which is called he. It has the feminine. That's called what? She. And it has the neuter. The neutral is neutral, neither masculine or feminine, and it is called it. Do you understand that? Now, Arabic, this is English. We are not talking English. We are talking capiche. So, in Arabic, and Arabiyya, it has a masculine. It is huwa. Huwa stands for, what they call this he, they call this third person singular. They call it third person singular. Meaning it can only be referencing somebody else. And that somebody else has to be one. Singular in its own self. Where this is third person singular also, right? This is third person, no, it's not person at all. It's non-human. And it could be plural. It can be plural or singular. Wa alaikum salam. This right here, this it is non-human, plural, and singular or singular. Whereas in Arabic, the masculine, it is singular. Masculine, singular. Huwa. Masculine, singular. Allah says, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say, it or he, Allah, is one. Then it doesn't have a neutral. It doesn't have a neutral. The feminine is hiya. Hiya, in English, she, is third person singular. But in Arabic, hiya, if it's in reference to a human, then it's feminine singular. Like the Arabic. Now, when it's referencing non-humans, in the Arabic, it still means the masculine in gender singular. And in the Arabic, the feminine here, it means feminine in gender but plural. Don't you see in your books, the Medina books, hiya kutubun. Hiya kutubun. She is, or it is, or they are books. Right? And then they say, huwa al-kitab. It is a book. Or huwa al-kitab. It is the book. Meaning singular in notion. But it doesn't mean he, the book. That's only in reference to masculine singular human. When it's in reference to a cow, something's non-human, hiya al-baqara. Right? So we have to understand this part about our language and the language of Arabic and how it differs. So when we see this ta'neeth, this ta is in reference to a feminine, gendered something doing this action. Yes?
What if it's an ant or a bee? What's
animal? No. Namla? The word? No. Every word in Arabic has already stated gender. Everything in Arabic has a stated gender. It would depend on the thing that you're referenced to. If it's a namla, okay, then of course namla, by the virtue of the word with the ta marbuta at the end, is a feminine thing. It's feminine. So it would be referenced as hiya. Okay? But if it was a masculine thing, like an asad, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, like an asad, then this thing would be considered a masculine thing. So now a harf is a word, again, harf is recognized. How do we recognize a harf? It's called a harf because it's so small, its ends don't change, they stay the same and they keep the same form. Nothing that you see here is good. Whatever's good for the other two, for harfun, it just won't do. So there is no sign for harf. They say the absence of a harf, absence of a sign for a harf, is a sign of a harf. Okay? So there is no sign that you can use. Just, you know, anything that doesn't have tanween, or doesn't have al, or it doesn't have hurufu khafti, or sin with selfa, then that thing is a harf. And so after having recognized this, and after knowing that i'raab is, going to the sidebar, these changes are called i'raab. Right? The changes that take place on the word, that's called i'raab. That's what the next term is. We go to the next part of a lesson, and the next part of the lesson is to declare what are the huruful, astaghfirullah, raf'i,